Okay, today and tomorrow and for the rest of this week, you're going to be solving multi-step inequalities. Solving multi-step inequalities. And write this down, this is real important. When I multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative, I must change the direction of the inequality. When I multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative, I must change the direction of the inequality. So in this first example, 9 plus 4t is greater than 21. Treat the inequality just like an equal sign and solve the equation the same way you would if it was an equal sign. So you would subtract 9 from each side. So 4t would be greater than 21 minus 9 is 12. And then you would divide both sides by 4. The 4's would cancel. So t would be greater than 12 divided by 4 is 3. So any value greater than 3 would make this inequality true. The second part of the directions are to check the solutions. Check the solutions means, in this case, pick a number greater than 3 and substitute it for the t. So a number greater than 3 is 4. So if you take 9 plus 4 and multiply it by 4, you're asking yourself, is that greater than 21? And it's a way to check your work to see if you got the correct solution. So is 9 plus 16 greater than 21? 9 plus 16 is 25. Is 25 greater than 21? Okay, it is. So you say, is 25 greater than 21? The answer is yes. Okay, so your solution is correct. And it's a simple way to verify your work and make sure that you didn't make a mistake somewhere in solving for the variable. Negative 6a minus 7 is less than or equal to 17. Now, in this case, there's a negative number in front of the number in front of the variable. And this is where you have to be careful when you're solving inequalities. So in this inequality, your first step would be to add 7 to each side. So negative 6a is less than or equal to 24. The next step to solve for a is to divide both sides by a negative. So this is real important. You're going to divide both sides by a negative. When that happens, when you divide both sides by a negative, you have to change the direction of the inequality. So these 6's will cancel. Your a will fall down. The direction of this inequality has to change. And 24 divided by negative 6 is negative 4. So your solutions are anything greater than or equal to negative 4. That includes the negative 4. If you graphed your solutions, that's a closed circle on the 4, on the negative 4, and it's everything greater than or equal to the negative 4. So now when you are checking your solutions, you can pick anything greater than or equal to negative 4. In this case, it's very easy to check a 0, because a 0 isn't in the solution set. So you go back to the original equation, and you would take negative 6, multiply it by 0, subtract 7 from it, and see if it's less than or equal to 17. So negative 6 times 0, that's 0. And the question is now, is negative 7 less than or equal to 17? And it is. So your solutions are correct. Any questions right now? $50 is greater than 0.8x plus 30. In this case, you're going to subtract 30 from each side. $50 minus 30 is 20, is greater than 0.8x. You can divide both sides by 0.8. Divided by 0.8. So 25 is greater than x. $25 is greater than x. So in this case, it may be easier to graph your solutions so that you can pick a number to try in the inequality. So this would be an open circle on the 25. Now, if you remember from last week, when the variable's on the right, you shade opposite the direction of the inequality. So the inequality is pointing right, so you can shade to the left. Because 25 is greater than all your solutions. So that means all your solutions are less than 25. So 0 is in the solution set. So when you're checking your answers, you can use 0. So is 50 greater than 0.8 times 0 plus 30? So you're asking yourself, is 50 greater than 0.8 times 0 is 0. And 0 plus 30 is 30. So 50 is greater than 30. So your solutions are correct. All right, you're going to have some problems on your assignment today where you have to use the distributive property. So 3 times t plus 1 minus 4t greater than or equal to negative 3. Okay, distributive property first. So you're going to take the 3 and multiply it by t, and then you're going to multiply the 3 by positive 1. So this becomes 3t plus 3 minus 4t. And that's greater than or equal to negative 3. So that first step was to distribute. Distribute the 3. In this second step, you need to combine like terms. Which means you're going to be combining the 3t and the negative 4t. And when you combine 3t minus 4t, you get a negative t. And then you rewrite the rest of the inequality. So plus 3 greater than or equal to negative 3. You can now subtract 3 from each side. So negative t is greater than or equal to negative 6. And now you've got this negative sign in front of the variable. Just a negative 1 in front of the variable, but the 1 isn't written. So you're going to divide both sides by negative 1. When you divide both sides by the negative 1, these negatives cancel. So now t, you divided both sides by a negative. Divided both sides by a negative. Here's a negative and here's a negative. So your sign has to change. And negative 6 divided by negative 1 is positive 6. So t is less than or equal to negative 6. Are there any questions? Your assignment for today is another handout. I've got page 190 for you. And problems 9 through 14. And then 17 through 19. And please do those on a separate sheet of paper and show all of your work.